AITA for making it absolutely clear that my wife and I are not nomming our child after my dad's late wife. This might be a long one, so buckle up. Last year, my dad lost his wife of 20 years after a long illness. It was hard on him and my half-siblings, who are all teenagers. She had been a big part of their lives and was a central figure in their family unit. To be completely transparent, she was not a central figure in mine. My parents divorced when I was around 8, and my dad remarried within a year. I spent most of my childhood splitting time between two homes, but my primary home was with my mom. My mom passed away when I was 19. It was sudden, devastating, and I was incredibly close to her. Her death affected me deeply and shaped a lot of who I am today. Even now, over a decade later, I still feel her absence in the big moments. My relationship with my dad's wife was cordial at best. I wouldn't call her cruel or anything, but she never really tried to bond with me. She had her own kids and seemed far more invested in her own version of a perfect family. I was more of a guest in their home than a member of it. I never resented her, but I didn't see her as a mother figure either. Just my dad's wife. That's it. Fast forward to last year, just a few weeks after she passed, my wife and I found out we were expecting our first child. Naturally, we were overwhelmed with excitement and a little nervous too. We'd been trying for a while and had gone through our own private struggles. This baby felt like a miracle to us, and we were already starting to dream up names, nursery ideas, and all the joys of becoming first-time parents. Well, apparently we weren't the only ones who saw this baby as something special. My dad was overcome with emotion, and pretty early on, started talking about how this baby was a gift from his late wife. He became convinced that the timing of her death and our pregnancy was some kind of divine sign. He and my half-siblings began pushing the idea hard that we should name the baby after her, not just casually suggesting it, but treating it as an obvious, expected choice. My dad said we should use her actual name, or at least a variation of it, even if it was a boy. He argued that her memory deserved to live on, and that our baby being born so soon after her death was fate. He even mentioned how she was part of your life for 20 years, as if time alone should equal some kind of maternal bond. I tried to gently push back at first. I said we were still thinking of names, that nothing was decided, and that we were leaning in another direction. But the more I tried to deflect, the harder the pressure came. It got to the point where I had to say, plainly, that we were not considering her name or anything related to it. This did not go over well. My dad got emotional. My half-siblings were downright hostile. One of them told me I was erasing their mother's memory. My dad said that I was being cold and selfish, and that I had no appreciation for how much his wife had done for me. That was kind of a turning point for me, because again, she hadn't done anything extraordinary for me. I don't blame her for that, but I'm not going to pretend she was a second mother to me just because it suits a narrative now that she's gone. At that point, my wife and I pulled back. We stopped engaging in name conversations and took some space. The baby is ours, and the last thing we wanted was a cloud of guilt or obligation hanging over something so joyful. But the pressure didn't stop. My dad kept bringing it up. He even said that I would regret it if I didn't do this, that one day I'd look back and see it was the right thing. He kept looping in other relatives to guilt us into it. Finally, a few weeks ago, we found out we're having a girl. We'd been tossing around names, and we settled on something that honors my mom, not directly but symbolically. My mom loved flowers, and we picked a name that comes from her favorite flower. It feels perfect to us. It's meaningful, it's beautiful, and it's ours. I haven't told my dad the name, but I know when he hears it, he'll know it's a nod to my mom. And I know that will sting him. So before he could spiral, I decided to come out and say it clearly and finally. We are not nomming our child after his wife. Not her name, not a version of her name, not even a letter from her name. I told him the conversation was over, that this was not up for discussion or compromise, and that we saw no signs or messages from beyond the grave. He got quiet, and then he got furious. Since then, I've heard through the grapevine that he and my half-siblings are telling relatives I'm being insensitive and cruel. My dad apparently went on a rant about how long his wife had been in my life versus my mom, and how disgusting it was that I chose to honor one over the other. Here's the thing, I'm not trying to disrespect his wife. I'm not saying she didn't matter, but she wasn't my mother, and nomming my child after someone I wasn't even close to, someone I wasn't particularly fond of, feels wrong on every level. I don't believe in naming a child out of guilt or to appease others. I believe in giving a child a name that means something to us. I thought being firm would put the matter to rest, but it seems like it's only made them angrier. So, AITA for drawing a clear line and rejecting the idea outright. For not wanting to name my child after someone who was never really family to me, even if she was family to others.